Folks, we've been talking a lot about false prophets lately. As a matter of fact, if you look at a study that I did just over about a week ago on Sunday morning concerning false prophets, you will figure out what Jesus said about them and how to actually identify them. Now, I've got one I'm going to identify for you right now because he's a really easy one to identify, and the stuff that he says are absolutely insane. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a couple of videos on this false prophet and false teacher. I actually think he wants to be the false prophet of Revelation chapter 13. It is none other than, you got it, the Pope. Now, this one is crazy. He's absolutely insane. He is literally in bed with the government and chooses to continue to use the government, like all the globalists do, to oppress the people in his action of tyranny. Now, in this case, he goes on to tell people how taxes are a really wonderful thing and how they are necessary to protect people. And I'm going to explain what he means when he says that, because in reality, what he's actually saying is really bad. There is nothing good about it. As a matter of fact, he starts talking about the suspicion that gets raised by people, by evil tax collectors, who oftentimes manipulate their power to be able to do things that bring them more power and take away liberty from you. He starts off by saying, quote, I'm going to read his quote, "A certain culture of suspicion can unfortunately extend to those who enforce the laws." Yeah, the tyrannical and corrupt laws that are actually created. He goes on to say that laws make it possible to maintain a principle of fairness where the logic of interest generates inequalities. Legally, in the fiscal area, is a way to balance social relations, removing forces from corruption, injustice, and inequality. Folks, what he is saying is he's saying that taxation should be a tool to enforce justice. And I'm not talking about the kind of justice where a government protects its people and, of course, brings people who commit crimes to justice. He's talking about social justice. He is talking about bringing equity instead of equality. And he is the person who really is enforcing this more and more in all of his scopes of influence, because I'm telling you this right now, folks, the man is a globalist. He desires to usher in the culture and the world of Revelation 13. He is going to be a very good friend of the final Antichrist. I promise you that. At least his views and philosophies are, because he is seeking to make it correct to do these evil things. By the way, this is a statement he makes, and I'm going to read it to you. And I guess it's a fair place to close because it shows you how ugly his statement is, or his views. He says, taxation, when it is right, is a function of the common good. He goes on to assert, let us work to increase the culture of the common good so that the universal destination of goods is taken seriously. In other words, what the Pope is basically saying is he is saying that taxation is an important tool for wealth distribution or redistribution. It's that crazy. He is, in essence, becoming, or already is, a Marxist. And he is a function of a man who has no regard for the scriptures. As a matter of fact, he uses his place of influence to manipulate things the way he wants, to be able to befriend his globalist buddies and allow the people to continue to walk in real oppression, which it really can be defined as not having a relationship with God. So the reality of where he goes is he is going down a very dark road. And folks, all of this to say, beware. He's a dangerous man, beware, and his views are purely wicked. It's sad, but that's the reality of what we're looking at, folks. And the Bible told us, the Bible says that we would see these days, that in these last days we would see men like this rise up. Be aware, folks, because he has some really awful views and he falls in place with the economy of the Antichrist. It's sad, but it's true. Beware, you guys. God bless you.